Hi, this is David Blakesley. I want to apologize in advance for any dampening effect that I might have on your mood as a result of this video clip, but I do want to talk to you about the Eichmann trial. This is a DVD from Kino Lorber that I recently received a review copy of. That's about Adolf Eichmann. He was one of the primary architects, maybe the top guy who was in charge of the plan to exterminate the Jewish people from Europe, particularly Eastern Europe, during the years of the Nazi regime, in particular from 1939 through the end of the war in 1945. He did not get apprehended after the end of World War II. He was one of maybe the highest ranking Nazi who actually escaped or didn't take his own life. And was not brought to trial until 1961. 15 years after the war, he was finally tracked down in South America. I believe it was in Argentina, by Israeli commandos who tracked him down, brought him back to Israel, where a building was constructed to hold a trial. I'm going to show you the trailer right now, and I'll come back with a few more comments after that.
This building was originally designed as a theater. It has been rushed to completion in order to serve as the temporary courthouse in which the state of Israel will bring Adolf Eichmann to trial.
The 15-year hunt is over.
Adolf Eichmann, most elusive of the major Nazi war criminals, will be tried in what some people call the trial of the century.
I am against the trial.
Why?
I don't feel one man can pay for the crime of killing 6 million Jews.
Do you think it's a good idea to remind people of all these things again?
The responsible persons are dead now. This doesn't do any good.
More than 700 reporters and cameramen have come to Jerusalem.
This is always a page-one story.
There will be 750 spectators in the auditorium, and the accused man will step into a cabin of bulletproof glass.
Adolf Eichmann, אתה מודה שאתה שותף לרצח של מיליונים יהודים.
Da blieb mir ja nichts anderes übrig, da musste ich gehorchen, was befohlen war.
No one is now in doubt that Eichmann is going to have a fighting defense.
Nein, das stimmt nicht, verstehe nicht.
Sehen Sie hier, dass tatsächlich die Junghausner Eichmann packen kann?
Sondern es ist ein ungewöhnlicher Angeklagter und man müsste eigentlich ungewöhnliche Methoden anwenden, um ihn irgendwie zu packen.
Que tous ses comportements, que toute son attitude était normale. On peut devenir Eichmann sans cesser pour autant d'être normal.
So as you can tell from that trailer, this is a film, this documentary, The Eichmann Trial, that consists entirely of archival footage that's been edited together for brevity and conciseness. It's an hour and 42 minutes out of what must have probably been hundreds of hours. This is a trial that had over, I think, 150 sessions. It was a very drawn-out process. It was kind of a big media phenomenon at the time, and so a lot of what you get is footage from the trial itself, as well as newsreels, interviews, kind of what might have been like commentaries on various television broadcasts, not only from Israel or Europe or the USA. I mean, it's a multilingual film, and really just kind of gives a sense of the fascination and the dread and just the, the reckoning that took place when Adolf Eichmann finally had to answer to legal authorities for his crimes against humanity and the Jewish people in particular. As you saw in the trailer, he does adopt the "I was only following orders" defense, although he makes it a little bit more elaborate than that. But you see this look on his face. I mean, just look at that smirk. You see a lot of that in this movie. This is basically the expression he has. Sometimes it's a little bit more serious. This is probably about as expressive as he actually gets in terms of conveying an emotion. And that's probably one of the heaviest and most frustrating things about this film. it's not a bad film by any means. It is dry, and you do need to sort of concentrate because there are stretches where it's quiet and it's in black and white and it's fuzzy and it's the slogging proceedings of the legal system. So this is not an invigorating type of, in fact, the trailer makes the movie look a little bit more exciting or fast-paced than it actually is. There's a bit of chore to work through this, but it's still fascinating to see how this process unfolded. But what is frustrating, like I said earlier, was just the enigma of this man, Adolf Eichmann, who presented himself as kind of an underling who just did what he was told to do because he wore the uniform and it was a wartime and he just had no other choice. I mean, that's a complete cop-out. I don't know if he actually believed it or not, but that was what he presented. But like I say, you should reckon with this and kind of hear the arguments. He did have a defense attorney, and there are just some arguments made that I think give people a lot to think about if you just want to consider the way the law operates, and how rationalizations can make even the most heinous of activities seem benign, acceptable, inevitable to the perpetrators who commit them. So this video, I mean, obviously this is for the specialist. You got to have some kind of interest in the topic because it's not really going to bowl you over cinematically. This is a DVD, a bare bones edition. You do get an interview with the director. He's really not a director by trade. He's an editor, but he did take it upon himself to edit all of these, these hours and hours of footage down into something a little bit more comprehensible, digestible, accessible. Kind of gives you the overview. I'm sure he had to cull through a lot of very boring courtroom footage to get what he did. There's some trailers. There's also a couple newsreels that kind of show the full length of things that were excerpted in the documentary itself. So again, this is from Kino Lorber. If you've got an interest in this topic and just want to understand, I mean, it is in a sense a companion piece to films like Shoah, which I think is a phenomenal, film and a work of art, depressing as hell. And it's very discouraging to think that people like this can just kind of come up within systems and be empowered to do what they do. That's just a reality, a sad, dismal reality of the world we live in.